Gentlemen, good morning, beautiful day. October 4th, 2022. October 4, 2022. Salon people, I see the Sunday program that was done on AYV, Samuel Bangura and as the chief panelist, as the moderator, actually. He gets a panel of the Minister of Information, Andrew Lavali, Masara Samba, and Brother Baratay of the APC party. We can discuss them. At least some of the takeaways from that particular conversation there. Salon people, a few things there. It just crossed my mind. Will Lara Tilopias? I know say Cashbox could say, Ibrahim, Lara Tilopias, Kai against F because this particular point in time, they don't mess up the work for them. So even if they get the appointment back, come back. But some people, where Lara Telopias? Who do we for ask for Lara Telopias? We all know say the parliament, the president, not follow the due diligence we for follow, and we all know say parliament we get the right for stand up at the same time to protect the constitution and protect Lara Telopias in civil rights. You see, it is very clear, say in section 137 of the constitution, which I talk about, where Lara Telopias is compared to like the judges in position as the auditor general. We know say the president for consult first. This government na consultation no even sabi. Lara Telopias, the auditor general, not supposed to be the gap number you sack. The only term where you sack Lara Telopias na parliament that now after the judge them, they recommend the tribunal for go say na parliament they go decide. If the judge them decide for say yes, we see something wrong na yaso, let we send this go to parliament and the parliament they go vote and parliament and in the finally sack Lara Telopias. In the interim, whilst the tribunal they go on, now the only time that they after president don't consult with the judicial committee, now the time that they only then he say okay, we can put the auditor general on suspension. So when Lara Telopias, who do for go ask? We not get auditor general in a salon. And when you go to this panelist and conversation, they don't even talk about corruption inside here. You get the African Express publication after publication. The country can now not taboo. If you mention African Express, it look like say now day your life the end. So nobody not get mind mention the African Express. The same African Express will be there back in the days of the APC when the SLPP be the supporter. And they share a agenda, then they share a publication step. When Lara Telopias, who do for go ask? Nada mami dong bombe, nada pa dong kanike.
When you did talk, like right, the point where you make right there, say, just the action we then take by this, by the way the government take against this woman, it don't question whether she should come back or whether she would just kind of like give up, but everything don't seem for question the objectivity, Ibrahim, because the reason why they say so, the standard, the audit standard, they tell you, say one of the key principle of like an auditor, you get for be objective, like your independence, okay, you get for be seen and like your independence completely, and your objectivity cannot be questioned at all or put to the line at all. So in a way, like now, if Lara Telopias come back, they go say, you know what, okay, it can with Wabat, so it is difficult, but when you talk about the African Express, when we can't, like accountability, and I don't seem for don't go down the gutters. Accountability don't mean nothing that we can't see anymore. It is so bad, and I can always tell people and say, the very action, the reason why we dey do not because of like, the West they can take from we, they rip we off. No, now we self they destroy we self. Right? Like when you talk about the African Express, everybody seem for the afraid for mention the African Express and listen to like DJ Bass the other day. Now hot seat, I think it was Friday or Saturday. They ask them about corruption. DJ Bass way, very objective guy, very objective guy. But when you talk about the African Express, it's just drum in mind. When they ask DJ Bass about corruption, guess who that he mentioned? Whether Dr. Lai that he mentioned for corruption. He don't even get mind for talk about the Africanist press. Or say, now forget. I do not want to kind of like judge him now.
You don't forget Cashbox. You don't forget, because if you talk anything concerning the Africanist press and go lock the Maki Radio, then definitely then charge DJBs to court.
Absolutely.
DJBs say, you know, we talk.
Well, that's the problem we get. So it's like, how can you ever talk about corruption, making references to Dr. Lai, where, yes, what he talk, I don't get problem with that. Because, like, for many people in a fake degree, yes, it's a bad thing. But how can you talk about corruption and you the kind of like shy away for talking about the Africanist press? How?
And Cashbox, the Africanist press now one. If you want to talk about the corruption, this is business already, for God's sake, where them pull Lara Telopias because neither the Auditor General, the post will be saying, they can't tell you how much money they thief, how much money they manage well, where them pull them. You know, ever talk about this and where they interview the first lady, where that release me accuse her about corruption. You know, Kashi, as you say, we don't know the reason why make people then they shy away for talk and salon, and they could get all the way to my and then I will put in a salon for go. If we not fight corruption, it need a better salon no go ever better. Let me take example. One, let me go on one clear example. After the war, we then can do the structuring both at the police and the military. That's what we get Kiswiru, then say force for good. We will get them then colonel, then the military, we then come. Kashi, trust me, then they pay you that to time money they left them, all thing. Where then come, where then for certain period of time. We begin see back, we begin go back, we say, we be non come out. Where then go Kashi, it don't want to pass how we did 1991. You see, because they know they build the institution for level for sustainability. People like people say, I let them go now, we will take care of ourselves. Because one of the things, corruption in the foundation for bad governance. Like corruption, they kill democracy in any country where they say country corrupt, democracy no dey. But you cannot, people then consistently, Africanist press, they say what you talk, if they are facing a lie, all man they see the people names and shop and numbers and business places them, they inside release them, bank transaction number them. Everybody get right for as a Sierra Leoneans to get right for check that. But not make a not of discussion. But still they continue for tell us say, if one makes alone better, we'll go for fight the first team fight against corruption. Now the first two for do because we corruption in that country, we need to get better democracy.
But what I want for asking about, going back to brother DJ Bass is a very positive guy. You know, he's a great guy, good guy, man. You don't feel saying that the interviewer them back, the interviewers them, the moderators, they don't feel saying that the hypocrite one them back. Because for example, when you come to DJ Bass, if Lamrana be put to Ram, point blank, say what do you think about the Africanist pressing publications on corruption? Then you don't forget DJ Bass a pass. No, so DJ Bass not be get no choice. That's it.
I wouldn't blame Lamrana because I think the question that was kind of like thrown to DJ Bass was, what do you think about corruption?
No, Kashi.
Kashi, let me say, Lamrana tell DJ Bass what he say. He say, I know saying that we talk through. You can talk through before you pose the question to him. Is this why they ask you question? That's why you first to tell them, I don't see a person to talk to.
No.
Is this so? Are they asking this question for make I know tell you? I tell them publicly, let's say yes, this is so I don't see the free not person to talk to. He ask them question them. He constantly be like what they do answer the question them.
Okay.
This is a hot seat.
And the point is from where Ibrahim and People's Power. Yes, Lamrana Ba as an interviewer, because when I remember when they interview I think it was the president or so, like na CNN, the lady come out to complain and say, oh, we don't see reports from the Africanist press. So I get it. Yeah, both parties then supposed to make the thing open and clear. But
exactly,
if I say all man, Lamrana ban out, you know what make them say now he call Africanist press. DJ Bass back himself they say no can put me back to go. We say they call Africanist press.
And Kashi to
all man they
and Kashi to the extent I agree with Ibrahim. If I ask you for corruption, you know, talk and specify now. Now, okay. Now, what about the first lady in corruption? Who they are through Afghanistan press? Because that agree to Ibrahim, because you the interviewer. If you ask person, then a question agree, you specify the question to the person. So okay, absolutely. Well, okay, what about this other way? Okay, talk about corruption, you know, it balance them. So okay, what about the first lady in Nemo image of Afghanistan press? Because I'm not about the CIB, they read them. So there comes the interview. I say, this is a problem, and now they tell you when the interview has a problem, then they balance that questions.
No, but come here. This now John Pamai trainer journalist. All man they afraid in campaign. All man they afraid of ask the real questions. to be honest, waiting at the scene at the country, the hypocrisy, even when you get people and they go and talk, even like the Masala Saba, like Ibrahim, which they can't talk about the debates where you know, like Mr. Baratay, the information minister, Gado Suare, and the Ulabali and Masala, even when in the answer, these guys then they try to fine-tune the things that, for me, I am tired of this thing. The real things that would affect the country. Look, like when we talk about DJ Base, comrade, you mentioned about the audit report. I mean, salon people, let me not forget this. How let me go back to Lara Telopias, why they sack up. In 2019, Ibrahim, how Auditor General, they go tell people and say they say the Finance Act wrong. Imagine the Finance Act, the financial secretary writes up. They can't go to the Minister of Finance. The Minister of Finance review them. They can't go to like cabinet review them. They can't go to Parliament check them. When you come on Parliament, they go to President. All this side they're not able to notice say the Finance Act was wrong. They do, for me, in my opinion, they do it deliberately for me the Finance Act wrong. Tiffany did the timber where it kind of like caused this confusion for people facing at 5 billion. We all know say it wasn't 5 billion, but when we come to the reality, it was $275 million. Ibrahim, they only paid into the consolidated fund almost 25 million. All right. 25 million. This Babadi guy, waiting output. The Auditor General say, okay, like they say we say the Finance Act was wrong. So we will expect say this thing, they say the correct time. Then the Auditor General for can put them inside the 2020 audit report. That's the one we come out last year. 2021. Ibrahim, before they come out today, you see we put pressure on the Auditor General. Say, oh, we went to for the timber money, we went to for the First Lady, because in the 2019 audit report, page 434, they tell we say the First Lady not produce any cash book, no financial statement. So we remind the Auditor General, say, we wait for the thing in the next audit report, make sure say he did it. Ibrahim, just wait a day about for pull the audit report. Because the woman asked for her, what did they do? They got rid of her.
They fire up. And then they
people not see these things.
Then they be in Mayor Ivoraki Soya.
Just blind, or are we just they look for something to talk?
Then they be in Mayor Ivoraki Soya. But again, you know, I think Comrade and Cash should answer that question.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's raining heavily now. I didn't get to that same incident happened, but that flow lights no more.
One of the things we talk once we display the first start with Ibrahim. So the 19th constitution. These people in the cry down. Ibrahim, if we don't pay nothing, that constitution only for praise more for bring that constitution because it make with the talk today about democracy and alone. If you see talk about election in the multi-party state, that constitution give the platform. Before that, we not been ever talk about elections. Let people understand we get election, but I mean parliamentary. Now just a vote for members of parliament, the head of state continue. But more we can in a goodwill, look at us okay, for let the country run in a proper way, bring the constitution in 1990 allow for going to elections in 1991. It's a law make a law get multi-party elections. So there is no way possible to say that constitution is not been democratic. If it's not democratic, we talk about elections, then say we talk about presidential elections, then say cash works. That's a very big no. I really also talk say in the undemocratic constitution we don't use for all these years. That undemocratic constitution nine count national governance. Now it make SLP come to being because if not that day, SLP will never become a party in the it will not be team of the past. We check the law that Salbat Magabin do, we make Secretary in 1967, now you can go to one party state in 1978. So if you see now the talk about to make you the talk so now to do, they can exercise, they make sure that they go make party till kind of governance 2 times. Now because of that 19th constitution, it gets problem in the yes, the too much executive power of the president. Yes, we know that they get problems them. But you know go to that constitution not democratic. You know, it's very pathetic. This is deception. I didn't that was already talk about say the government they accept they allow level playground. A very democratic able cash work. So I want to say for impose Speaker of Parliament na good democratic principle and he want to say for remove 10 members of Parliament na good democratic principle and he want to say for take members of Parliament without following due process of the law. They no go vote for them. They go put in the Parliament na good democratic principle and he want tell me say for like a whole minister go ballot box that will bring down and so many things cash works. He want tell me say we say then can repeal the Criminal Libel Law Act. He want tell me say now me and you we get man go na salo waka. Okay, not to be safe now. Push power. Let go back na salo. Say me push power. Let come out na future. Say me push power. He want tell me say the extrajudicial killing of the Samsi na good democratic people land. How many people are not then they be embarrassed? Let's look at the people with arrest after the August 10th. Just because they not label them. They non castigate them with the arrest. They look at the department over 300. You want tell me say na good civil liberty. So these are things where only they allow the place like even settle. Because when they want to platform for go full the problem, let them say they do well. The SLPP, if you talk about they say we invest in generation and we invest, we don't count free education. We are around so they put it picking a government school. All of them picking the private school. Put if you see all the feds cast was that mark my word, look at no more. How see Capella for like say government school, say they can go and walls like the post school. We don't sit like here. You see, let go SS1 and walls. You see, this is tell you how that the civil all together they thousand school and then expensive private school. You cannot tell me like say no. Can't see the amount of the Korean and say there's only school for buy books, for buy uniform. All the parents decide for buy books and uniform. Every parent trade this and we government school. They all tell say we need for buy books and uniform. The MP and SSF now on them. Look at all the test Abukabu, you have been go left and constituency, we will give uniform and boost them to the less privileged picking. Cash box will go for go give uniform. I can still remember this in 2020. Where Abukabu go, the picking way they one picking way go see. Trust me, in fact, again for it puts extra budget. If you see the picking then this government to the boss the supply uniform, because if you see the picking a day, you go cry. If you see the uniforms the way they wear, if you see the shoes them, if you see them bag them, a box you not for talk. So they want to say pull them blind. Masala Samba way they talk about say they don't tell you talk fine. They say if you as a person, they afraid they want try for fine tune. Masala Samba go back to what team I put you that doing after that by election na Konadugu. Where you can really mad and begin attacking. Go back, let you know see. But you know something and they why would they pass civil liberty? Why would the past fight against corruption? Because the civil society like Andrew Lamali and kind so throughout in discussion that hypocrisy they make, they know they ever come out and do what they pay them for Xbox. They know ever come out and do what they pay them for. We see when they try for it's better, you know, sometimes when I talk well, like Masala Samba, you talk certain areas that way really good, but please don't emphasize on the things that don't affect people for many years. Especially inside these 4 years, yeah. Especially inside these 4 years, these past 4 years, when they want to talk, say, go back like the police been bad, but this police here, even the one party state police, the better party police here, una prove I'm wrong. Who say we don't see in the all shape or form. During the 70s, students strike they happy that free them. Service strike of try them. Let them tell you if they kill students. We in Akono 96, I've liability I witnessed that in the it's 6 students strike in Akono. The English student died by still bulletin them investigate themselves. No look the process that happened during Pakaba time. No look under arrest Kuma. The level of killing what police don't do in these 4 years, you know, ever happy like quoting availability measure the killing of Panema Road, na Tumbo, na Lushar, na Mile 91, na Tonkoliba, na Makini, and the recent killing them of Ibadan Samson na Makini, na after this August 10, because all the killing happened na the protests, na fuel and kill during the protests, all the rest na after the protests. Go na the host them, pull them. We see videos of people when they pull them. The videos of Lion and Steamer. You see, now make you say, we need the voice of availability. We talk and tell against it, we don't hit availability. When you go sit down for talk, you know, say it's a big talk. You know the issues them. So that means say, if we don't give a big vacuum. If we don't get, it's the same way, so when you go listen, we don't say, anyway, I don't give vacuum. Now, this is what we want from availability. We will not hit nobody who say all man can take a role. If you will not defend APC for 10 years, which you know as a spokesman for the president, and when you don't for talk, without listen and not say yes, you know the things we to talk about. Now this will be one from you. We not listen. When I go listen, don't I say will not be hit availability. We say the man gets it for offer. Like come back and like I've been doing 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Like come back and ready show. And I know say we don't go so. We are let it now. Like continue for the go and you know for try for educate people because SLP na lie and couch. They may very succeed for Carolina the West because APC will take note of that kind of fight earlier. So the left and the guy lie. So when you don't cancel, I'm sure let it up now. Let's step now in a real shoe. He know what for talk. He know the issues them. He don't do President Kroma. He know what President Kroma do. We right. He know what do it wrong. Comparative analysis. Me I compare. It's a hate for compare. Understand? But me I compare. Look at that. This that is why they talk. They talk in lies them. He compare the two when President Kroma been appointed the next. Chairman, he not just appoint a do consultation, they call all the MP them. Although now so not happy all this while, they need to call 2 or 3 people them, which I agree. For any position for me 2, 3 people them, they look for that the most qualified. But President Nkrumah consult the party them. He follow all process of the law before he appoint Mvali. We no object, including the SLPP. Now it makes the SLPP kind of power. Because I mean no. So you follow one of you don't do all things before you consult. And consultation supposed to follow the process of the law. Now we don't argue all these years. So consultation, we like one can defend them, and then in the day, we'll gladly apply the don't go to. And we don't go to don't begin show say yes. Then I'm the person in the radio put them join the radio 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, we them there. They don't go and take you show. It's better to late than never.
Folks, the weather kind of bad, the rain and all of that stuff. I don't lost their man there, and I did a garage now. But when I beer with me now small, I get myself together.
I don't know if they talk.
Comrade, so me at the exit garage now. When I continue for talk no more, I go where I exit the building, the garage. I will get more good.
Okay, thank you. So, because what I say, Ibrahim, who will be the talk, who will face hits people, they won't hit nobody. But when you come and do your correct job, then would they come and say, kudos to you. We all get a responsibility for save this country, Ibrahim. What will they talk today? Not for APC or SLPP. What we're saying here today is for the people at just born. Because if we not put a low force, we try for let people see all what we see. We not come for let somebody win elections. Like anyway, this they talk say we. And Rabali talk one very sensitive thing. We Radoswari one can debunk and lie. You see, selfish politicians they think about the next generation, they think about the next election. That's the SFP they do. And even in the radio station, Radoswari prove to me. When they talk about that, they not about we say, hey, but we begin to talk about things we don't do proof points. They begin proving points about they don't think about next generation, they think about the next elections. Why so we can at this platform? We they talk about not for we now. Now for just on board, not who don't suffer. Now we begin also for them. Of course, we begin on begin for ourselves. Now we begin or just to bono can suffer. So let me go talk and then spoke on the platform. We analyze issues them. We don't hate nobody. We bring out things of importance. So we don't get problem from 1961. But we want to say we don't have that problem. We just accept anybody can accept them. No. If we look at the problem now, we identify the problem. We can't do solutions. What will be the possible solution? We discuss them. People not live in say the problem no ever solve. The problem for be solved. Problem solve. We get for understand and they very much. If we don't understand the problem for solve, who's all the head for? We get for know them here. Because at the end of the day, I'm only can talk for help us with election. We talk about what if for do if you win election. What if for tackle, like education, like health, like water, like good rules, light, improve on lights, like democratic principle, uphold the rule of law. Like when Abdullah say in the talk about the police, let me just I don't say to the area and they are happy. The police, in as much as they say they're human, but then they expect so many things. They tell them say they've observed the rules of engagement. We paragraph 1 tell you say if firearms will be your last resort. Paragraph 1 says in the firearms will be the last resort, meaning the firearms for fire's sake. I give a very good example between the military who see that when they go to military, they pull and cheer them up because they don't find nobody. They begin calling them. But when the police go there as a show, now the motive mindset when I will kill an IPC problem. They don't label the protest through APC and IPC when I will kill them. So that's exactly what the police was doing. We see as a rich party until they escalate the tension, begin use life rounds, they begin kill. I don't talk about program in time like I say. When I know continue to kill people, picking them. People man there, people papa there, people brother there, people sister for safe. We see this application. We condemn the act of violence in all shape or form. But equally we condemn the act for the government not allow for protest. How police will determine people in protest look no see like way this being Femi Close school. We be that in the reckless of Suarez radio, it's Femi Close school and lawlessness. A right to police to one protest. Police will say no, we need to go that would not protest this thing. Now you determine when to play the protest. No. You don't determine. When people don't go there, don't tell them, they don't give them, don't bomb them, don't do that. In fact, they need to even ask for permission. Then they ask for police for provide security for them. No, say for permission. No, we for not like give them. They don't understand. Say we for give them the security from point A to point B. If you are not allowed it in the day, and as Master Samba equally say, if you all land don't feel, people are not guys for protest, not able for express their voice, you know, able to talk. What's happening? It the end of violence. So any little thing happen, it become violence because we are not allowed the people for them to exercise their anger. We need a proper
Question as alone. For tell people say protest. Not to say that for good cause. Protest, no say that for good stool. Protest, no say that for good born mutuka. Protest, no say that for good chairperson. Protest, that for good express your anger and your feeling. How you feel about the government. But equally, the government would have forget the responsibility for protect the people and guard them too. But if we are calling for protest, we take away the begin party gas, take away the begin use weapon, take police begin beat people, begin arrest people unnecessarily, go knock them. And they become violent. And then you know, by all the protesters who don't see it over the years. It don't happen. They deny people of their right, democratic principles, civil liberty, right to protest, right to assembly, freedom of speech, right to expression. All that known as today. These are things we want to go on television, we want to emphasize on them, we want to talk them.
Okay, you see, to be honest, I don't tell people, are they close for actually give up Barcelona? And I'm not kidding at all.
I find out my mouth.
No,
I find out my mouth. Go to the degree. Then I find out.
Well, it's true, but yes, we all get to play with your part, like in diverse ways. There, but you see, comrade, when you look at the country, like every side, name me one institution or one arm of government where they function the way it should. The lazy excuse where we get to that country is like, oh, you feel say this government, that democracy will they operate in and all that thing. For me, I don't believe in that. Come and look. If people don't say the democracy that exists in that country, then why do we have these arms of governments them where we feel say get democracy? When they define democracy, why do we have these people? Look, Marcella, somebody openly tell we say, hey, self Naya, he don't feel intimidated for the talk. If Marcella somebody emphasize on that point, say if me, they afraid for talk. Think about the ordinary people in that state. Comrade Ibrahim People's Power, we country, it's in a complete mess. Anybody will feel safe. Look at the country. Everybody when they talk about that country, the only thing when they talk about, the only one when they see the good of this government. And when they ask me, what is good of this government? Everything in the Twitter. The moment they ask them, say, always they look at the short term, which they get benefits on the Minister of Information. It tweets them directly and begin to talk about the free and quality education.
And Kashi, what's happening? This I don't do over the years for look people who meaningful when I can't the first state when I say no till I give up. It's either you give up, you say okay, so man is okay, you need to flag where pan the dirty, no all thief. We know the thief, we know one do not Salomon, one gets little. But let it be genuine for the people. Let me tell you something, Cashbox. What is more frustrating about this tier, I understand. The one way they for protect the democracy. Now then now say the excuse me, I don't this government they bastard. Now they the protectors of the democracy. Now they cry foul. So that means we the responsibility for telling us we not for cry foul, we not for protect democracy. And now we don't do over the years. Over the years, they do for telling us now that responsibility. All they can cry foul to we. We don't know for cry to una. We they can cry to say we do so. But we cannot give up, Kashi. Don't give up because if we give up this. I tell you, this generation of you, we got the so. If we give up, salon is finished. Trust me, we already give up. We are going for a long haul.
Absolutely, that's the point. But you see, we get for kind of like look at we country. Everybody when you turn to, then they tell you say waiting there for do. Waiting this for do, waiting radio station for do. When you see, like this guy, they tell me, we get 230 radio stations, we get 24 TV stations, we get 212 whatever stations, and all that thing. They try to print a picture. They self know how they destroy their country. You only Mr. Information Minister, you only name them in the name because of the money they give, because they eat all the money they eat the subscriptions they pay, their license fees them. They make you able to remember all that in the day. But when you self, you go to your pillar. Actually, think if all the 230 radio stations them and 24 TV stations them, tell me what thing they do for that country. They tell we must say get 230 newspaper there, 212 radio stations. Then go back with all waiting happen, with all the calls.
Yeah, actually, you say how many TV stations do we get in a salon?
He said 24.
Oh my God, 24 TV stations.
Yeah, that's what he said.
24 TV stations.
Yes, that's what he said.
What's that the 24 TV stations then?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
24 TV stations. Where the electricity?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
That's a very good question. Where's the electricity for the people and for me to watch them and be sensitized? He said that we get 212 radio stations then. He said we get 230 newspapers then. That's exactly what he said.
212. Stations will call a lot of people whether they intimidate now offices them go can sit down at the radio the day and explain and talk. How many of these radio stations? Ibrahim communicator and Cashbox, not to forget the radio stations that me say will get freedom of speech. You can get 1 or 2 radio stations, but everybody gets equality, everybody gets rights for talking at the radio station within the law. Recently they go close Star Radio and Star TV. Because of publication where Star Radio and Star TV make for the August 10 demonstration. They show a lot of videos, a lot of things they would have put at. They go and close the radio.
Why?
You know, all the radio, like hot seat, you get for meet the board chairman. The board chairman in AYB, they are all SME. Many people go and watch the board chairman. When you are forgive anything like 98.1 so, then they pick the questions the way they ask you. You not go ask questions the way they don't want. Any program they send them to them, let them show you the program they like SLBC so. Now then they decide who that for camera they get you, who that not for camera they get you. Now then they decide the questions the way they ask people them now they get you. When they ask questions, they say no, this question not to you they ask. When they ask you this, we're not going to ask you this. Everything is stage managed. The SLPP open the radio station, Marcela Samba go say no, but they ever come and talk about her? They ever come and talk about that the radio station where they open justice schedule? Who side then they cause APC, then they next they talk a lot of bad things them against the APC, then they attack the APC no more. They ever come and talk about that radio station and they. So all of them things they are waiting, guys, they also they do now the country, they are doing it because now they in governance. Now they in power. When the time and the hour get for come, Aki always they remind and tell citizens them. When the time get for come, the time for account of everything, the account of your stewardship, your account of the office, where they make you minister, where they make you director, where they make you commissioner, where you be there, what do you do, what do you talk, what to make that go wrong. You get for can answer them questions then they. Some Monday where they announce the result before police go.
Well, people's power. Why do we have? I mean, whose time will we wait for? Do we have to wait until these guys then go? Wise people in the die, beginning they die in a Connaught hospital. We don't get scanning machine until we ask these questions. What is the exact time we're waiting for? We they wait for make them go out of power. Why is it that we always they wait until government then go out of power before we ask the questions? Why? Because when we do this, people's power, we all get to understand. Beginning they die in a Connaught hospital because lights no day.
You ask question now. Cashbox, you know where you ask.
Why is it that? Why? This is my frustration.
Because
why can't we ask questions?
You know ask question now. The reason why you know we ask question now, all the institutions that have been politicized.
Well, whose responsibility for make sure that these institutions are not politicized?
We check no the Africanist press come with a publication where show a clear picture, substantial evidences that we should say Anatoma, we now the first lady involved in corruption. Who that can defend them? The ACC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, and can defend them. Where the ACC for be an independent institution, a democratic independent institution. Where for
people's power, I understand. But you see, this is the reason why we can talk and talk, but it is difficult for sway we argument away from the supreme legislative body. Very, very difficult. Because even when you talk about the ACC now, is the ACC more powerful than the supreme legislative body, whether the parliament?
No.
It is difficult. Seriously. It is very, very difficult. Because everything that we are saying now, that the institutions, they don't be politicized. Yes, I get it. I get it. But how long we go sit by and watch these things that they unfold like this? People in the guys. We can't see. Yesterday, People's Power, and they tell somebody, like, what's the way not be too noble salon? And they tell them, say, do you know, say, salon? The whole country, no public hospital, no get CT and MRI scan. The person say, no, you are lying. I said, it is true. A whole country, no get CT and MRI scan. Do you guys, some people don't know what it mean? It's like I say, we don't value life to the extent that nothing we don't value anymore in that country. We all just live by God in power. We don't even know whose side we life they start every morning we wake up. It shouldn't be like this, People's Power. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. Yes, I understand the way, this government they operate. But what is the point in us calling this democracy? What is the point?
If it's large, sludge they get subvention from government, which means government now the budget for sludge, which is sludge for use the whole of the year. You will imagine how the institution there will be independent. Governments they make party for sludge every year. You will imagine waiting Nazgala side Nazgala go for talk or stand against this government. Sludge government they give sludge pepper, Maggi, Yabas, res, oil, palmine. Then they give them all kind of condiments them. What if you say go happen? What if you say go happen? And what we want for tell sludge now? We don't know say sludge for day therefore be included sludge now for the audit sludge. Because then they take taxpayers' money now, they give sludge some pension. Cash box. So sludge, therefore audit sludge now. We know the years them where they don't give sludge money. We know how much money governments don't give sludge. And sludge for account of their money they day. Ibrahim, come with Twitter and cash box. Hey, when government change, time here for Kaune get journalists. In fact, sludge office could close. Sludge office could close for make them they take some pension from government. Because at the end of the day, if you then come all this sludge, the money where government give na taxpayers' money. Sludge no able account of that one day. They all go find themselves inside prison. They all defend themselves inside prison. Ibrahim, now the first government is ever in this of me lie. For make government to give sludge money, subvention. You go imagine that? Government the budget for sludge say this year and this time sludge they get. What is sludge go talk? What in journalists then go talk? Then just they take this tier and they shape to themselves. Look who done are the chairperson for the Premier League, female Premier League board. Chairperson, now Asma James. And this same Asma James, a husband, Ambush James, now in the State House, he gets office there with them. Ibrahim, this business where then Gaia they do, then Gaia don't form cartel. Then Gaia they don't form a committee around themselves for ensure say then do this corruption when a chain work. Then they conspire to themselves. They all the institutions they so them call themselves say then are human rights organizations. They call themselves say then are civil society organizations. They call themselves say then are journalists them. What to make today, the social media don't be relevant to Sierra Leoneans them. Now because we not get radio and television stations them again where they come out to the truth. We not get and them newspaper them where they write the things them where they happen at the country. We not get a judiciary where go look this man say cash box you wrong, come request you right, or we go look Ibrahim say no, Ibrahim what you do so you wrong. We don't get that kind of judiciary again. Now I make the social media, they create a new avenue for citizens then. The social media, they bring the awareness to the people of this country. Today, if you go ask people where they sell radio, they have radio, then go tell you say they sell, but people are not get business again for buy radio. You know, get nothing again for listening at the radio. Now we people and they listen to, we went at the broadcasters and at the social media. We went at the commentators and at the social media. We were the corner, we they unearth the things them. Where journalists they not get my talk. Where journalists they not get my talk. DJ Best go and tell me say, no about the Africanist press. They follow Africanist press, they listen to her. They follow her. DJ Best go and tell me say, the advantage, your lawful pull where they pull the auditor. He go and tell me say, no but and DJ Best not bring the questions. You 110. Now that hot seat. He not bring a cam. He not bring the members of parliament the way they pull come out. He not bring the by-election where up in Akoinadugu, where the SLPP gets 49 and go puts the 149. All these things he not bring the car. Then challenges them already happen at the registration. DJ, these are all the people. And sometimes they are all parts of the gang. They are all parts of the thievery. They're parts for abused human rights, for abused constitution, for abused democracy. They are all parts of it.
In fact, people when you talk so say they're all part of the establishment, it will get an unconfirmed thing. And this not for me they say, and people have to check this. Look, like what Ibrahim said, DJ Best is a lovely guy, very positive guy. At times it is speaking the truth. But I mean, we all know. Somebody actually tell me say it gets paid from Gentle, from Gentle. Somebody tell me that. How true that is, I'm not going to say it. Because when our place here, not for kind of like tell people and say, oh, na so. No. However, like the kind we wouldn't get the actually suck it with the information them, it make people and they believe this kind of information. It's just like when they tell me, like when Gentle, my friend, all that thing, who knows? These guys could be skewing this report, like just in the favor of the human. Although that guy went positive, I like him. Since now one of the few Sierra Leoneans that were really, really kind of like very positive and can talk to, but still they can always they fall short. So outside the reality there. Who knows? Like waiting in the talk say it gets salary from AYV. I do not want to confirm that, and I do not want to kind of like say be judgmental about it.
Right.
But all of these things could well make we believe some of these things.
Kashi, comrade in people's power. What I go say about like with DJ Bass. See, information, the level of the way where some of we informed, and I don't make excuse for these guys, right? You see, because Kashi and comrade, we take like the Africanist press. It is not talked about, not until they talk about now the country as a whole, right? Now we know more where they bring them come constantly because they don't end up succeed for shut everybody out. So I don't want to play the excuse game for DJ Bass and other people like them. But again, people like Lamran Abba, the interviewers them, by them program they are, then get a responsibility for be very direct to certain issues them that are country to people where they bring kind of them platform them. Because in the heat of the moment, when somebody did in an interview panel, it get difficult for to remember all the necessary points them. But you don't prepare for the interview. Things like if you talk about proper democracy, like how all they say, corruption is the biggest thing where they affect Africa for the past 60 years. We make Africa the outside. Everybody go come and say they can clean corruption, but when they come the worst pass, so that they can meet and the whether the Allah say they get corrupt ways. So the interviewers them get a responsibility. I think if we begin call them out, the one day where they moderate them program there, then they come with the issues them very directly. We take the Africanist press. It's a whole topic. Africanist press is well recognized internationally. But CNN, they use the money in publication for broadcast. They don't interview the president of the country using Africanist press. So we have to hold the interviewers them now very hypocritically for say they are hypocrites. Now them, because if they, let's say, like Lamranaba, if you be asked DJ Bass directly about the Africanist press, and then DJ Bass dodge the question, now we hold DJ Bass accountable. Because Lamranaba don't do as a journalist to say, hey, listen, the Africanist press, they've interviewed the president using the Africanist press's, publication. Let's talk about the Africanist press. Why is it that members of parliament and parliament will take up the Africanist press insinuation in the parliament at no point in time? Now you're waiting DJ Bass for say, because that's you don't create an opportunity for the man for able to talk. But until then,
In as much as Yusuf get a responsibility for say, you know what, when they ask you a question, you get a responsibility for come now and face it there. But what I want to say again about the panel, them, the whole panel, when you look at Andrew Lavalley talking, you see, these guys don't deserve a space in a democracy. You see, civil society organizations across Africa, it only reached the point where a lot of them are dying back very slowly. When you take people like Andrew Lavalley, there is no doubt for say Andrew Lavalley is not an SLPP person, and everybody gets a right for support a political party. But when your loyalty switch from the country to a political party, then we get problem. Look, Andrew Lavalley, where they try to give all these connotations and denotations about, consultation. They give all kind of different ways out for twist them and make up. It is simple in a proper democracy. We're in this part of the world. When President Joe Biden, for example, we want for appoint this new lady to the Supreme Court, what do you do? Then put out names first. In matter of fact, then get a responsibility for even consult with the general public. And then they listen to what the public get for say. And then eventually now one name go show up in a parliament. So what did they do? Now yeah, you go see 2, 3 names then they pop up. And then 6, 7 names, they want black woman. So for example, they want that black woman, they then begin look amongst the woman they were judges, them when they reach that level, they will qualify for be appointed as a Supreme Court judge. Now they put their names then they out. The press gets a critical role for play. Now we could get the press, we get the radio stations them and TV stations them. Like when they appoint Zara Bosire for consult, of course you don't engage with the leaders of parliament and members of parliament, say, hey, this is not the person I want, because it not necessarily means if we bring 10 names or 5 names. No, we can put one person forward. If the one person, within that the back end, we know so they don't get enough people anyways, because the president don't want a person grow iMac, but he want to put one person forward first. So again, that's a possibility, but still, it is about consulting. Then boy Andrew Lavalley, instead of just going straight to the point, say, listen, the president should have consulted properly. Bring the name of this person out in the public first. Let parliament hear, all my let the people themselves participate. We can even kind of on a round table, we can discuss the name of the person, why people are getting issues and problems. Bring political party then come. Bring that same round table then form. So bring civil society, political party leaders, them or representatives of political party like Karen with Baratay. So when I put the name there for discuss them, why you don't want Zainab Mosiri? Why you feel Zainab Mosiri will be a very corrupt person? Or why not is she not qualified for this position here? Everybody bring a point out, right? And then eventually he said I go to parliament if you want for continue for move down that way. That is consultation. Andrew Lavalley knows these things. But when SLPP did a power, this guy is a Mende guy. Is a civil society organization was meant to actually, damage the APC as a political party. And this goes back to a live we do a couple of months ago, where we talk about how the guy they actually damaged the APC party to the international community, because that in civil society they use them effectively against the APC, and when they make the international community be pay attention to what they happen in the country. But they like it today.
Did you see did you notice like the side where Andrew Lavalley they emphasize on the Freedom House information the way they give to MCC?
Thank you.
He was emphasizing that not to be the duamo, not to be the duamo, not to Marcela Samba the duamo. Like he was emphasizing on the Freedom House information.
Thank you.
When they go to the MCC.
Okay, but. Right, but for tell we exactly what they do. But we know say the Brookings Institute and all of these other institutions where the Freedom House can subcontract, then they go talk to civil society organizations, and Andrew Lavalley is one of those civil society organizations where they talk to forget the input on certain issues. Them exactly we get to do with the report, and we talk about ruling justly. We get to do with democratic rights, political, rights and civil liberties. We break and down from the top all the way down. You look at all of these things, Andrew Lavalley, then they give them feedback there to these organizations. They are responsible for it. I don't know why they deny now, because they also don't put a lot of fire behind the MCC. They know the fire where they behind MCC. They know the fire where they behind Freedom House. They know say we get contact with the people and the CEOs. What they tweet to them directly, let them see exactly what it is. They know say we don't open their eye. So in the try for take the blame away from himself now, but we don't see them exactly for who they are. You take Marcela Samba. As disappointing as it is, for 4 years, we tell people like Marcela Samba and say, stand up, campaign for good governance. You were very vociferous during the days of the APC. You be powerful, no sit down. But Marcela Samba, they go force. They forget about the country, like for some Marcela Samba, not they safe. In a democratic time, even at a time where we don't get the election calendar don't open, We did not even do sensitization, voter education, sensitization of registration of the process and all this. Masala Samba, not one time we not see them campaign for good governance. When they walk down one day, for go across the country, educate, sensitize, prepare people. Them. We see how the August 10 protests then use them for put a cloud over the whole process. When they not even announce the registration centers them on time. By the time they announce the registration centers them, they don't even get constituency where people's power pick them one day up and they don't even get constituency on them registration centers. Now ward number and get because what you do then the fit for boundary limitation. Marcela Samba was nowhere to be seen, missing in action completely the whole time. It creates room for them guys therefore continue for destroy the process. When Marcela Samba, one of these person here, we don't day all this time they receive millions of dollars, millions of euros from the European Union, for letting able for coming, straightening up with democracy, then get the responsibility for protect with democracy. Then you go to, the Minister of Information, of course, he's just there as a puppet for the government, basically. Where they talk, you're going to say this guy is just trying to appease. Where they look at him for it, if it's possible, what you they see now for it, now Marabio, right? See it. Because they talk for please Marabio. All what they say now for please Marabio, for please the base. Because they get for talk for let the base be appeased. So when the guy they talk, you see, say that all, now everything at the own side, and they cover him, then they shroud him, and they make him let it look like for say, oh, it's the right thing to do. It even go against the Constitution, the 1991 Constitution, where we talk about now all these years now Momo between 1985 to 92 now where Shaka Stevenson appointed we become the president of that country today. Momo now give with the constitution, if anything, is the father of democracy, because don't forget say Albert Magai now destroy we country we make get a one party state, because now in law now in Papa Shaki use we Sidompa we make get a one party state system we be get then come on now then go to Bush Ali Kaba go to the Mataba na Libya for say for form a revolution. We see all things and then we get the double also, all kind of things we then do. Because again, the same laws they already pass. You see these guys, Sidoyana now, they can't talk about the constitution, the 1991 constitution. We can say get flawed and whatever the case may be, but whatever it is, let we respect them as it is at this particular point in time. Now the constitution make they get to democracy. The constitution make SLP come back the power. If not for Momo, will not get the constitution who get to the like today. If not to people like Dr. Abdullah counter them, we write the constitution again for draft and they wouldn't draft and so. Yes, there are a lot of amendments we'll get for make later because some people get extraordinary powers we not even necessary. Like how the president will be a president of the parliament. We know one time. Inside America, if now the president to the head of the parliament, now the vice president at least, now ain't get anything. The president not forget anything for do with parliament. So that particular law, the one that they were no want. I think it's under, section between 97 to 100. We did under that section the president as as the president of parliament. No, we for change and me I believe so that one get today for change because all the extra power and we don't mean say still even though that the parliament still get power for step on the president and do their own work if they want to do their work. No, not take that day away from anything. So let nobody know say oh hey the president no. Parliament still get power for stop the president in the tracks. So the constitution should be respected by these guys. You look at within Brother Baratay himself. At least this now warm up. So we know say we brother don't go down at the country, don't go at the ground now. It's on the ground. And we say one great thing where everything we say was well in place. I mean the English, the grammar them for a lot of people they pass over the head. But one thing we say, we talk about history, and this goes back to why we consider like I did so, Brother Baratay. You see that history, not a falla, we want to go back and revise and revisit history. Now we get like President Bio can be president as alone. Now make party like a SLPP even they survive at this particular point in time. If we be respect history, we know they get them kind of issues they all get to the like today. Marabio come 1992, then kill over 29 people. Bambe Kamara, all them people in there. Marabio overthrow Strasbourg 1996. In a society where they follow history, where they go back and revisit history, where they teach history to people. Because a lot of people vote for Marabio without even knowing, the young people, without even knowing, say Marabio will be part of two coups. So Brother Baratay, for like you say, one for go back to history. There is no excuse now. You can never make that excuse for say I hate for go back. Why for hate for go back? We're talking about politics, and when you want for straight in politics, you look at the past trend for coming up the current trends. You for look at the past example, we get former President Nkrumah, where it was a sacrosanct fact say this man no get no political detainees in 5 years. But I better say those are the talking points. Those are the things where you for bring forefront now, the highlight them straight up, let everybody see and let them defend themselves in a lie. for 10 years. No political detainees, Brother Berete. You know what you do? That is the essence of history right there. Now, I make history important. I make you for always refer. Matter of fact, if you do your research now, issue after issue for compare wetin be happen then unlike from a President Kuruma where you be part of that government. So wetin happen now when you look at the human rights abuses, go look the State Department's report, Brother Berete, from 20.
Ibrahim, the point you make about no political prisoner, that even with the libel law,
absolutely,
the libel law when they jump for say, oh, we don't repeal the libel law. Even with the libel law, no political prisoners.
Exactly. So Brother Berete, you know, we're giving you a pass on this one, you know, because again, I would take this as a warm up.
Ibrahim, additionally, now we don't repeal the libel law. Now we get more political prisoners. Then they arrest more people. They arrest Kamosi because he's a man of being a coupist.
Yeah.
When they repeal now, they tend to arrest Kamosi. They cannot apply because he's a man of being a coupist. So we never don't confirm say he get PhD in coup.
Exactly.
Well, we prefer the criminal libel law. We've been there under President Kuma. We put them in the talk, 50% they can first them they talk, they go up and down, and we talk say the ability for takeover, we no arrest them. Then this is why we be saying I will get cyber law.
Absolutely.
We prefer President Kuma in criminal libel law to all the talk what you want for do. But this is pure democracy. Criticize, use, most them talk. The part talk them. Is it someone that they is disrespectful? Is it although it's disrespectful that the price will pay for uphold democracy?
Yeah, accommodates them all.
That was beautiful.
Accommodates them.
That statement was beautiful. They say although it's disrespectful, but we get for beer. Follow uphold democratic principles. That statement was beautiful, Ibrahim. This is what criminal libel law to. Then the man talk up.
Yeah.
I first said to go future. You want to talk president. President call up and he said, "I said do. No, but not touch up." Now, not to be let push wife in a man like command that I mean push for like command or William or book and pen or Woody APC or Queen, but let the command that let us say that this let look go pass there. That's something they go kill so. Yes, let us go pass there. That's something they kill so for nothing. For nothing. For nothing. So he better not get that law of President Nkrumah. We uphold democratic principle that we get this one with the cow say, but we bad pass the bad pass the law set by far.
Absolutely. Ura still don't pass this law, the same parliament. You see, now I make Brother Berete, now I make history important. Because the parliament of the 1960s to 70s, that didn't pass all them bad law. We get the rebel war. People that lost their life, cut their hand, cut their foot, split belly, woman belly, cut their head there. Because we don't revisit history. Say alone until we begin for revisit history and people understand, say you go for always go back and revisit history. Me, I don't get problem with possibly go back, but when you go back, we can't focus related to what happening presently. Be honest. That's all it is. Not so like with Francis Bank, I found the commodity say I go back to first lady Siakoroma. But there's nothing there. Then we come to the first lady, when your first lady, and if we do anything for take proper action against her. Because we all know, say Fatima Bio, all Salon people move at $10 million at this particular point. Money we receive from the consolidated fund, not all the other PADMO.
The man put principals there. That street and cop them, they put tax pan them.
Thank you.
For saying they take more money. Then if the minister with deputy with they eat over 40,000 bags of price.
Thank you.
If the minister with they eat over 40,000 bags of price, but they say they take money, they go put it at street publicly.
Thank you.
They shame them, but not can go to the minister.
Right. Because what you do, we the people don't tolerate and allow this. The same people who will fight for and they come back, they can fight costly. The same people when they disenfranchise, they like a today, they lock them up. Then people will go stand and protest. Some still did and then jail them along Bembons Island. Then the Kailahune, the eastern part of all them prison, they scattered all over the country. The people, ordinary citizens, when they go arrest them and lock them up. So if they're not going for see election, a pass after election, not even they are alive till then day. Then go for come back and be free. Then people on the day. These are all the conversations whenever they get on them platform there, when they get them round table meeting there. Because democracy is about the people. You see, again, section 5, subsection 2A, sovereignty belongs to the people. You know, because the government, through this constitution, derives its authority, its power and its legitimacy from the people. So that is what these guys, that conversation and for they talk about, you know, but these are the issues we're on the line. The people are suffering. The people are dying. The people are being taken advantage of. So go back to history, revisit everything which happened under the former government of former President Nkrumah. There was tolerance. Both sides tolerance there now, Brother Berete. Get all these facts together. Take Michael Mansari. We go to Map Nara Stadium. He said that former President Nkrumah and build the stadium. So like when Ravali and all these other people, we talk about the MCC. These are the things we want to talk about, Brother Berete. Brother Berete, I want to read up on the MCC a little bit, and I'm sure you're aware of the MCC. You get more information and you get more idea past when it comes to the MCC, how they operate and everything else.
Ibrahim, liability, to conceal points, he measured the TRC report. And the CRC, the guy consider the review committee will be formed of President Kumar before. They say, but the TRC report now recommend for say law will change some laws that the constitution. We President Kumar will not do justice. And if you know, see this way that happens soon now, the TRC report will not already point out. One part of the TRC report points out that tribalism. See, one tribe no they ever occupy all the offices in the country. What do you see that happen today? Every appointment president you pull, which put that mandate to be specific.
Absolutely.
For every appointment we put a mandate to be specific. If I this TRC report,
absolutely.
All sensitive positions in the country. They go to the security sector, the IG, the DIG, the chief of operation, the director of crime services, the head of the CID, the deputy, the chief of operation CID, everybody, the head of the OSD, everybody is from one tribe. Go to the office of national security, the NS code, the national security coordinator, the deputy national security coordinator, the chief of staff, the PRO, everybody, they back, all the senior management are from one tribe. Go to CISU. The DG where Director General na Medema as well as Idris. The DDG na Mati Labon, the CDS in younger brother. Then you come to the chief of operation na Sisu. Na Mwela Idris where this na as well as Idris in your uncle nepotism. Then the senior manager na Mati Labon in your big brother in ref when na CDS in ref. Then the senior manager na the place. All one tribe. Come to the military. For every appointment, you pull Lavon as Joint Force Commander. When I'm in day, you take Alpha, you put that as Joint Force Commander. You pull ST Kanu as Chief of Staff. You take Bondo when I'm in day, put as Chief of Staff. You pull Mende when I Katie as because you take Mendema when I Poswa, we president, we involved on that drugs case where they're not investigating today. You do an investigation and go appoint as Dicos. They say Abraham, so every appointment. Where they make you put Mendema as brigade commander, you put Ikengo Mendema. So it is the thing they say every appointment is sensitive that the entire security sector don't run by one tribe. Go to the prison. You pull Joseph Lamboy, when I'm in there, you call Touré, when I'm in there. You pull the deputy, you call Mendema. Instead of you give the rightful posse, when I prison officer, you go take Sujaman. Instead of because you know say at that time they don't get they go take Sujaman now. You know, misuse of priorities, takes to the go to a deputy, Southeastern. Every sector you check, Ibrahim, go na any sector. This is just skill. We talk about one type dominance. Go na next today. Go na PPRC. Go na statistics. Every side is one type dominance. And in this report, I'm never saying try for people attention. We don't talk about 4 years down the line. We'll see when I read the TRC report, the beginning and the summary. What you talk about, the only thing we them to forget. The houses of parliament and for look into. But then put and clearly say the police and the judiciary that the main cause of Nigerian civil law. See what the police do. Look what the judiciary do. Kamarima Masari, the gap bill, the master and the chief of no enough for the farm. Pull them. We will say protesters them. Look at that. This one them inform people them. Ibrahim, if me they were this so, I still myself I can they know they jail me for that. Nami body. Who's not telling say public nuisance? Now I go cost a person area na public nuisance. If me work and naked, so me the next person don't go lock. Get all of them because don't lock blacker. Now me body if me work and naked, now me body they just did like that because in your form of protest, you see me I strip myself naked. For that you know say I'm not happy. You don't go to here. You said that the deceive people. We can understand that Ibrahim.
Absolutely. You know, Comrade Kashi, low left and I got it wrong, but we continue tomorrow. Anyhow, when I think it's a lot of people there. People, so I want close and quick. Kashi, come on.
Oh, I think say people still get for go out yonder for register and I think say we understand say they add other days them for the registration or then they and democratic because in 2018
2 days then they add
days yes. That day on democratic because in 2018 now 45 days we register for the whole of the country. Now the first registration this as we register 15 days. You imagine 15 days, nobody no challenge this. Nobody na the whole country, everybody quiet, then guys here use this thing for register. This country. 45 days and it's Kuma, 45 days in 2002 election. 30 days now they register for 2002. 30 days now they register. 2004 local council election. They register for 30 days. 2007 now 31 days now they register for. 2012 31 days. 2018, Ibrahim, 45 days.
Mm.
Then they register for 45 days. Then
People's
they
power.
register for.
People's
You
power.
imagine
People's
15
power.
days. Anyway, Ibrahim,
Hey
no,
God.
just encourage people. These 2 days where they had, or this one day we don't left today, let people use the opportunity, let them go out there and register. This registration, Ibrahim, I don't see no sense where this registration make anyway.
People's
Now, go
power.
out there and register. Thank you, Ibrahim.
People's power. And they would the NGA, you know, but I think she'll go ask Mami Yabom, let go fetch for we. That Mami don't dokoti. Now they responsible for this. Because I don't know if na parliament or Kashi People's Power coverage. I don't know if na parliament for fetch for we, but something Mami.
No, not to them. Not to them. Let's go meet them and meet in Adolf court, and then go ask the government question.
Oh, sorry.
Because you look at we all, Ibrahim.
No, we and the members of parliament, other people, when they arrive.
Yes.
Now we have them pull and now we have them take our hand. Or
yes.
Now we then wait for the same symbol. Now we put the person that follow. Let them pull. Let them elect we.
Yeah.
But what do they tell people? Let's say every question get time for answer.
Yeah.
With the answer when the time reach.
Absolutely.
But not allow answer. We go see. We been telling at this. We will not talk. Like we can go see. We say 10. We go report you.
Yeah.
You know, for law we talk. Now we all look at the bigger picture. Cashbox, would that mean the leg pass myself first? Let me ask you, would that mean the leg pass myself? Because the principle of life, the first one, they say the first one is yourself. Yeah. Would that mean the leg pass myself? But if I'm thinking about the talk, anyway, law clap for man, they do well. Now no more, now they see you blind. Law clap for man, them get the truth, people will see come back and come.
Yeah.
If I'm not true talk, them are go first.
Yes.
Let go first for yourself. Now we clap for man.
Pass and
All man
Tigi.
do well. All man do well. They come for them kudos to everybody.
Yes.
Because it's enough of this nonsense. You see, when you salon people, now this week they say, salon people, we're so not used to this life. We've been entangled to live this life and believe this life. There is no way forward. But then we clap for we say.
Yeah.
Parliamentarians, una well done. Una really they do well. We really, in fact, since they buy flower for ourselves, and they send them for
Cashbox, you need left them parliamentarian there, man. You need left them parliamentarian there. You left Pass and Tigi for go all. You left Pass sorry we for go ask. Then you left, you go ask parliamentarian.
I pass sorry, dog, up sorry, talk now. And they buy flower for the parliamentarian and for job well done.
You left Mami Kade. You left Mami Kade to go talk about members of parliament. You didn't come with members of parliament.
No, I go ask Mami Omo to make it tell me, say, no, go ask President Bio, better sort the things them out, the registration. Let me go ask Mami Omo.
Wait,
Mami
Bola, you didn't go ask that Mami, that full of Musori who fish down the junction.
Exactly.
You didn't go ask that go fit for you.
Don't go ask Nene down the road. Then go ask Madam Bio. Let me buy flower for the parliamentarians because they don't do well, Ibrahim.
Hey,
look,
God.
some people we're going to attack issues. And of course, one of the biggest issues is parliament. But in Tina, so, how they feel say that the road in the dirty. Let me carry on. We're going to buy flower for the parliamentarians now. We don't worry no more. We can put in for top pot. But, we've come to this realization that people, they need to attack the government. Opposition are there for a reason. But if una feel say, there come on be any parliamentarian, we go ask Pasori, sorry talk. We go ask Mami Mola, regent, to make it go ask Madam you. Isn't that what I want?
Yes.
Yes, we can do that. We go ask them people and they.
Yes.
Then we go ask Madam you the question.
Absolutely.
That's
bye bye.